Welcome to ARW. I'm Harold, and today we're going to play on with a little furnace. Uh, I've had an experience with it, and today we're going to sort of take it apart. That ought to be interesting. See what's inside. Uh, just one thing I have to think about here is, soldering or soldering, as our English-speaking cousins call it, where you join two pieces of metal with a little silver solder. How long do you think that's been around? I looked into it. 4,000 years people have been soldering stuff together. I don't know, Sumerians or some other group back 4,000 years ago had soldered together swords. So it's been a long time. That's just to improve your mind since you're watching my channel. No charge. Okay, so a couple of days ago, I came along here and I took this little booger and I filled the crucible right at the top with aluminum scrap, and it started cranking up. And I went outside and worked for about 20 minutes, come back in, and it's dark just like you see it there. And I checked the wire, and it's full of angry pixies. So what I'm figuring is that something's wrong inside. So we'll take the crucible out so that so it doesn't get damaged or anything, and set him over here. Maybe that's a good spot, I don't know. And we'll lay this sucker over on his side where we can get at his guts, and we'll see if we can figure out if it's a blown fuse or who knows what. Wire off of it. Relatively good wire. Stiff. Must be fairly heavy. Alright, so we'll lean it over like this. Around like that. And of course I didn't bring a screwdriver over here. Hang on. Alright, I'm going to move you over to one side where you've got a good view of the proceedings. And we'll take this little booger and pull the screws out. Come on. We'll find out what, if the fure's blown or the whole thing blow up or what. I've come to believe that it's an induction furnace because when you look in it, you don't see any coils inside. All right, so I still think that here's where the power goes into it. Well, let's get my multi-tester and let's see where we can see. We'll just put it on conductivity so we know whether it's getting juice through it. And I guess I ought to put this wire's not plugged in on the power end. I'm going to put it in here and check all the way through it. And I have had these extension cord things, these power cords, go bad. So let's see here. Put him on there, and come over here and let's see if I can get you on behind there and touch it. Well, look at that. So it shows there's probably a fuse right here. If there's no conductivity on this stupid thing, let me pull it out of here. This could be a bad wire. Now that side of the wire is good. That side of the wire is good. You can see with the meter here. And well, the ground wire was showing something, so I knocked it loose. All right. The ground wire is good. So we know the wire coming in is good. So this thing that looks like it's the emblem for a fuse, this might be a fuse. Let me try and see if it opens up. Well, let's just check between the inside and the outside to see if anything's working there. Lost the tip off of there. All right, here's this one. That guy there's washer in contact. Well, it appears that our problem is right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you guys take a little nap, and I'm going to pull some of these wires off and see if I can take that thing loose. Look it over good. All right, so I found it. A little fuse blown here. He goes in there. That was a fuse holder, and I managed to pull around and find a hole back here I could shove my Randy Richard scribe up into and push the little fuse holder out of it. So now then I've got to dig around here and see if I don't have a replacement fuse for this little booger. So you guys just hang loose and I'll be back with you. Take another nap. That's a good idea. Alright, so I dug around in that fuse holder and there was a spare fuse. It says F20 amp. And here's the spare. So I can put that back together. I had to take a lot of pictures. But anyway, the fuse has been identified, and I guess maybe the next one won't blow. I hope. So I don't want it to, so let's put this little guy back in there. Just like we took him out. Now I know you can come in from the bottom to knock it out. I'm not going to feel too bad about it. So what I got to do is screw it all back together so you can take a nap while I do that. So when I came in and I found that this guy was cold, for some dumb reason I took the little crucible and poured all the goodies over in this big crucible. And so now I've got to get in here and dig out the light amounts of aluminum. They weren't very thick that I threw in here. Now this is one piece that I was going to melt. I'll put it back in there. But a lot of this stuff, you know, these bigger pieces, they won't fit in that crucible. I gotta get all the little, I had more of those aluminum casings, shell casings. I poured them in there. And I guess I need an aluminum magnet now because I can't get them, I can't reach them down there, and I can't get that piece of stuff to move. There we go. We'll refill it with whatever I can fish out of there, and hopefully it'll all work out. I'm going to fish this stuff out while you guys take one more nap. You'll be well rested when this is over. Now, one of the things I did was to buy an infrared thermometer that'll go to about 1300 degrees C. And I'm going to use it to determine what the temperature is in this little guy right here. After all that, you've got it set for 1150, but I'm going to take it back down from that some. Let's see. Ah, this should have a 1 in it. There. I'm going to turn it off. Whoa! I just heard this thing blow just then. Something is shorted out in there. But it just popped. So there you are. My piece of junk continues to be a piece of junk. We won't get to use the infrared thermometer to see what the temperature really is. So that means I got to figure out how to fix this thing, huh? Well, I get some other stuff to show you anyway. All right, to facilitate moving that little shed, which is going to come up pretty soon now, I got this guy right here from Home Depot. I just got through taking it out. It was in a box. So, in fact, there's 3 boxes that just contain this little guy, and that chain is loaded with grease. I wouldn't have shown it to you if I'd realized how greasy it was, but there you are. So sometime around Christmas or after, I'll have all the supplies to move the shed, and I'm going to put a concrete block foundation under it, and then it can leak all the water through it wants to, and the foundation won't rot like the plywood and 2x4s that are under the current setup. And this guy here, it's a 1 ton, and rid of the shed weighs 650 pounds, something like that. I just need to pull it sideways, you know. So this will more than do the job, and it'll go slow and easy, so I don't rip anything to pieces. So I think it'll be good. Now, what I would like to do, what I need to do is have some room in here, because there's things in that shed that I got to bring in here, such as that drill press there. I need to get rid of that, and that bandsaw, I need to get rid of that. And in the interest of getting rid of this stuff, I'd take 20 bucks a piece for them, you know, or you should come pick it up from my garage. So but now the saw comes with a stand, but the little rollers under it don't go with it. That platform underneath there, I need it. So and I can give you a length of round belt to go on that drill press, and I think that would make a pretty nice purchase for somebody, and it would give me some room, because I've got to put stuff in here. All right, and I guess I've told you everything I got to tell you. My darn furnace just popped the fuse all over again there, so obviously something in it is shorted out, and it's going to take a lot more investigation, and we might as well go see what Bubba's doing. Just give it up, you know. I don't think we're going to melt any metal today. Maybe not tomorrow or next day for that either. Well, it seems like Boudreaux inherited this farm down there in Plaquemine Parish there in Louisiana. So he moved down there and decided to start raising chickens. He built him a big old chicken house and got a lot of chickens and running around there. He figured they needed to be free-range chickens, because that was the end thing these days, you know. And so he let them all run, you know, all on this farm there. Sure enough, here come the state, and they built a highway right jam up against his farm, you know. And the cars would come by there so fast that they'd just suck the chickens out on the road and they'd get killed. Well, that upset Boudreaux. That upset Boudreaux a lot, on account of, you know, he was losing money. Those chickens cost him a lot of money. So he called the state police, and he asked them to come out and put up a sign or something to stop these, you know, stop these people from going so fast. And they put up a sign. Didn't do a bit of good. They was just coming right on by doing the same thing. So he called state police back and told them, you got to put up another sign or something. So they come out and they put another sign up. Still didn't help. And there was Boudreaux. He was calling every day to complain. One day he called in and he asked the sergeant there, he says, look, he says, is it okay if I put up my own sign?
The sergeant thought, well, this guy's a problem. I get rid of him. Yeah, put up a sign. So after about a week gone by, the sergeant realized Boudreaux hadn't called him, at all. So he got curious and he drove out there to see what Boudreaux had put up. As he got up there close to Boudreaux's place, there's a big old sign that says, "Slow, caution, nudist colony ahead."